Chapter 4, Freshman English 101.
Anyone who has ever been to college understands the hardships faced by college students as they try to adjust to college life. Imagine being me during the late to mid-1960s as a foreign student at Michigan Tech. Not only was I adjusting to college life like all the rest of the students, I was also simultaneously adjusting to my new life in a foreign country. All the other students had the advantage of being native speakers of English language, having grown up in this country, and having already been to school here. I did not possess these advantages. One day, during my first year at Michigan Tech, I was sitting at a table with other Indian students at lunchtime. Some of them were pursuing their master's degrees, and the rest of us were still going for our bachelor's. Every one of them had a degree from a college from India, except me. I enjoyed getting to interact with my fellow Indian students because we were all in the same boat, and we understood what each other was going through. Ramesh was one of the Indian students that were sitting at my table. I had never met him before. "Hi, I'm Ramesh," he said, "but I go by my last name." "What is your last name?" I asked. "Dixit. I tell American people that it rhymes with mix-it, and they laugh. I don't know what is so funny about it. Instead, they pronounce it like Dixit, and this is frustrating. Anyway, what is your afternoon like?" "I have physical chemistry, differential equations, and freshman English." I did not know what was funny about Dixit either. I could not be of any help there. "Jesus Christa, son of a beach." I see Dixit was trying to Americanize himself. Everybody flunks freshman English at least once. You cannot compete with the natives. They have been speaking English all their lives, and you are not going to get any breaks. I'm doing my master's in mechanical engineering, so I do not have to take freshman English. I'm glad I'm not in your shoes. None of us Indians can pass on the first try. I feel sorry for you. Now that annoyed me. "Listen, Dixit, I'll do just fine." I tried to play it off as if his comments did not bother me, but in reality, he had succeeded in getting me worried. I remember my first day of Freshman English 101. There were about 30 students in the class. Dr. Standish was the professor. He was blue-eyed, blond, 6'3" tall man with his upper teeth slanted as if they were leaning against a tree. He was a mild-mannered low talker. He stared at the wall as he talked. He giggled at what he said as if he was amusing himself. Unfortunately, rarely ever did I understand a single word he said. The more he taught, the more frightened I became. I started to believe there was no way I was going to pass this class. At this rate, it did not seem likely that I would pass any class. What am I going to do? Maybe Dixit was right. Maybe he was concerned about me and was just trying to warn me. I got so worried that I did not hear a word Professor said. Then Dr. Standish proceeded to write something on the board. He wrote, "O thou mannequin, how thee impact mankind, agalmotophilia, thine art of marketing." Dr. Standish loudly pronounced each of these words as he wrote the sentence on the chalkboard. "I want you to expand this thought," he said. "Let your imaginations run. Write an essay on this subject in no less than 1,200 words and submit it when we meet next time. It will help me establish the baseline of your proficiency in English." As soon as class was dismissed, I jumped up and followed Dr. Standish into the hallway. I told him I did not understand anything in the class, especially the topic on which we are supposed to write the essay. He said he was busy. He asked me to come to his office the following day and discuss it with him. I sobbed that night. The more I thought about the shit he wrote on the chalkboard, the more I knew I was screwed. I was certainly going to flunk. What Dixit said now made perfect sense. Foreign students flunk Dr. Standish's class because they don't have the same type of English background as the American students. I was still in the process of mastering the basics of English language. I was nowhere near ready to take a college-level English course. I'm toast. I want to go home. The next day, Dr. Standish was late for our meeting. I was sitting in his office waiting for him to arrive. I had been waiting for more than 10 minutes. I was about ready to leave in disappointment when he finally showed up. He had a big smile on his face as he took off his shoes and hat. He explained that he was late driving to school because of the 15 inches of snow that fell that night. As you can imagine, we got a lot of snow in Houghton, Michigan. I have thought about it, said Dr. Standish. You're not the first one in this situation. We would not have admitted you to our college if we thought you did not have what it takes to succeed. However, you are new, unfamiliar, and homesick. Therefore, here's what I want you to do. Instead of the topic I described in the classroom, you will write on the subject of India. This being your first time, you get a break. How does that sound? It sounds good, but moving forward, how am I going to compete with the other students? I asked. There is a remedy for that. You're going to have to work very hard. Do you have the syllabus I distributed in class? It will help you in doing the pre-work in advance of the class. Look up and see the material that I will be covering in each class. Study them before you come to the class. Then pay attention in the class and make sure you understand the content. If you do not understand any part of it, raise your hand and ask me. Always do the homework. It is the homework where the real learning takes place. Actually, I recommend that you do that for every course you take and everything else you do going forward. If you are sincere and put your best effort into it, you will do just fine. We know you can do it. If we did not think you could succeed, we would not have admitted you in this university. Now, when you yourself believe that you can do it, then you will make it. I piped in. So you are saying do the pre-work, classwork, and homework, right? You got it. No matter your national background, these are the steps for success. Then Dr. Standish asked about my family back in India. We talked for another 10 minutes or so. I thanked him and left. I felt better. I wondered why my cafeteria friends told me Dr. Standish was an idiot who flunked people right and left. And one more thing, added Dr. Standish, I find it very difficult to understand you. Practice speaking, read out loud, slow down, and have someone help you with your pronunciations. Thank you for pointing that out to me, Dr. Standish. I will do that. No problem, my friend. Take care. I made up my mind that I was going to put in the effort. That evening, I asked roommate Phil if he could help me with my English. Phil agreed. He wanted me first to learn how to pronounce swear words like the Americans do and how to use them in the proper context. He told me it was necessary to speak like a sailor. This confused me. I did not know why I had to learn to talk like a sailor when I was majoring in chemical engineering. Nevertheless, I was inspired by Dr. Standish's suggestions. I genuinely wanted to speak English just as fluently as anyone who was born here. I thought just maybe someday I will be able to speak English to the masses. I wished. That seemed like an unobtainable goal at that time. I was glad that I went to speak with Dr. Standish. He made me feel a lot better. He agreed to let me write about India rather than expanding that thought on the chalkboard. This was the first and last time Dr. Standish, or anyone else for that matter, gave me any breaks for being an immigrant. From then on, I competed in the same league as everyone else in this country. I did not expect any different treatment. I ended up passing Dr. Standish's class with a C grade. Although I didn't finish at the top of the class, I was relieved to get a passing grade considering that so many in my shoes flunked the class the first time. I passed it largely because I followed Dr. Standish's advice. Over the course of my college career, I took several other advanced English courses, including Shakespeare, medieval, and modern dramas. The Standish doctrine of doing pre-work, classwork, and homework was indispensable. These are the three ingredients for any student's success. Doing pre-work the assignments to be completed before the next class is essential for better understanding of what would be covered in the class. Doing homework is by far the most important contributor. It is where the real learning takes place. This doctrine has served me well ever since. Aha! So what have we learned? 1. Continuous applied education differentiates you from all others. 2. Always do pre-work, classwork, and homework. 3. Colleges offer many resources for you to succeed. And 4. Quit quitting.